Greetings to Madam Zanali and my fellow friends. I would like to present our pamphlet presentation. So this is me. I am Hiini. My matric number is 06389 and my partner is Siti Noor Shakira. Her matric number is 060284. Our content will include all these, and the contents includes brochure background, reason we choose this brochure and why we use the methods. And the methods will be deletion, literal, translation, transposition, modulation, equivalent, and the problem that we face. So I would like to explain about our brochure background. The topic of our brochure is Children's Mental Health Awareness Month. In BM called Bulan Kesedaran Kesehatan Mental Kanak-kanak. So the background includes to raise awareness of children's mental health. Not only that, we are learned to understand early recognition and screening of mental health problems in a child. And the last part, after we understand children's mental health, they are tips for parents to care for a child's mental health. So the next part I would like to explain is the translation procedures. My part, I will explain about direct translation. For direct translation, I include deletion, literal translation, and taglet. For deletion part, deletion means source language words that can be completed with deletion of additional words to the target language. For example, in source language, make time to refill and energize yourself. When we translate to Malay, meluangkan masa untuk bertenaga demi diri sendiri. So refill and energize will be included as the same meaning. So when we translate to the target language, it will become one word on it. So refill and energize, it will translate to bertenaga. So these are deletion of the words. So for the second translation technique is taglet. Taglet is an expression that consists of target language words and is acceptable as target language syntax, but is unidiomatic in the target language because it is modeled on the structure of a source language expression. So this explanation is cited by Herbie and Hinglish in 1992/2002. So for example, source language is health center. When we translate into Malay, it will be called pusat kesehatan. So target language, we accept the syntax pusat kesehatan, but the expression is in source language, which also the same health kesehatan, pusat center, it will change. So we use this lexical taglet in this technique. And my last translation technique is literal translation. Newmark 1988, he defines literal translation as not only involved with translating pairs of words or word by word, but also compiled with the needs of language system in target language. So for this one, it will translate word by word, and it also compiles with the language system itself. So both are using the same language system in source language and target language. So for example, play, 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 parents need it too. When we translate to BM, main, 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 ibu bapa juga memerlukannya. It's the same language system in BM and also in English. So it will be the same, and it will sound automatic or robotic pause. When we use other words or sentence, it will not sound quite nice. But for this part, you can use literal translation. So the last part that I would like to explain is the problems that we face. The first one is translation need to relate with the cultural background. And the second one is the deletion for lengthy and duplicate meanings in text to Malay. And the last one, the problems that we face, is the changes of translation text using obliques technique, as some couldn't translate directly. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Shakira, so I'm going to continue the presentation with explaining about the oblique translation method that we use in translating our pamphlet. So the first method that we use is transposition. So transposition is a method where the word is being replaced from one grammatical word class to another without changing the meaning. So from the pamphlet, the example we can see is that from the source language, the original word is the early recognition, which is a noun phrase, and then we translated the words. It become pengenalan awal. Pengenalan awal is a verb in Malay, so there is slight changes in the grammatical unit, but the meaning of the word is still the same. So then moving on to the second procedure that we use in our translation, which is modulation. So modulation is a method where the translation occurs in changing the point of view in the targeted language without changing the meaning. So the example that we took from the pamphlet is from the source language. The original word was screening initiative, but when we direct translated the word, it becomes saringan initiative. So when saringan initiative used in complete sentences doesn't sound quite right, so we use modulation in the process, and we change the word to pemeriksaan initiative. The third method that we use is reformation. So reformation is when we're replacing one word with another word that carries the same meaning. As an example, educational presentations and programming. Educational presentation and programming, if we use literal translation, it became persembahan pengaturcaraan dan pendidikan. It sounds quite unnatural, so we want to make the words sounds more natural, and then that is why we use reformation in this method. So we translated the word educational presentation and programming as pendedahan dan program berilmu. Why we choose this brochure as our assignment is because we want to learn more about children mental health, as we know that nowadays mental health is quite become an issue, and we also want to know do children have this issue since they are a child. So and then the second reason is it is easier to translate. We translated the pamphlet, most of the words can be direct translated. And the third reason is to promote the importance of children mental health. So nowadays, as I mentioned earlier, that mental health is become quite an issue, so we want to promote like the importance of caring about the children mental health, as it will be developed further if it's not treated. And the last reason is to have more resources in the health field. If you took notice in the digital world, like digital pamphlets, so nowadays like people doesn't really use pamphlet, and they are more to like exposure to in social media. So when we searching for pamphlet, there were not much pamphlets that are related to health field, but more towards the tourism. And the last part is I'm going to explain the reason of the translation method that that were being used instead of the literal translation. So the first reason is that we want to ensure that the translated version is understandable in the targeted language. And the last reason is that we use this method as when some of the words, when we direct translated, the structure of the words become foreign, or in another word, it's quite unnatural to be read or to be understandable in the targeted language. And I think that is all from us. Thank you for watching, and if you have any question, just hit us up, since Q&A session is after the video presentation. Thank you.